Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 70s. The National Marine Fisheries.
Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I've been working desperately for about an hour. Whoops, I just kicked the table. Trying to get my mixer to work. And I was really thrown off track because I thought I had it working yesterday, and then I stopped, went and played with my grandkids. And this morning it came in, I couldn't get it to work. And the one problem I had was the scanner. I'm using the scanner radio for, that's the weather, which you heard, is coming in here on this channel here, the right side. And I couldn't get it to come in this morning. And I couldn't figure out what the heck was going wrong. Well, I fooled around and acted like a dodo for over a half an hour. And I was recording that thinking that I would show you that, but I ain't showing you that because the big mistake I made was somehow, and I don't know how, and it's happened before, my webcam software that's recording on this webcam up here, I normally have the audio come in from an external microphone. I usually use I've been using my little, where it is over here, a little lapel microphone. Well, somehow that got switched. I think it was when I unplugged that lapel microphone from the computer mic input. I don't know if that really did it, but somehow it got switched. So it was then using the webcam as a microphone. And all the time that I was testing, I thought it was using the mixer input because I took the microphone out of the computer and plugged in the mixer. And I was making all kinds of changes and adjustments and everything, and nothing changed. Well, that's because the microphone input was from the webcam, not from the mixer. Finally figured that out. It took me over half an hour to figure that out. So I got the input back on the computer microphone input, which the mixer is hooked to, which might not be the right input, but the way I've got this computer setting and everything, that is on the front of the computer, which I have access to. Okay. And that's what I've been using in my past videos. So then I got the microphone working again, but I couldn't get the scanner input working. And I was trying different cables and everything, and I was using, because these mixers are still old school as far as their connections. They still use, because that's what they still use in audio recording studios and stuff like that, they still use 1/8" plugs or jacks. So I don't have any cables that are 1/8" to 3.5, which is now the kind of the standard output on radios, scanners, shortwave radios, whatever. I don't have any cables, so I have to use adapters from 3.5 to 1/8" and mono, because these connections are mono connections. To get stereo, you have to use two of them. So I fooled around with these for hours and hours, well, not hours and hours, but for a long time. And then I realized I actually took my meter, I did something intelligent for a change. I took my meter, and when I had one of those cables, as a matter of fact, it was this one right here. When I had this is a mono 3.5 cable. When I had it hooked up like that, and I measured from the center pin on this end that I was plugging in the back of the scanner to the center pin of this, I didn't get anything. When I measured from the center pin of this to the ground, I got continuity, which is wrong. And you don't want that. So I don't know why these are reversed, but they are. So, and I remember now having the same problem with my other mixture like this, which is the same idea, but it's simpler, much simpler. It's only about, I think it's about $50. This one is $80. Okay. So I went upstairs and I cannibalized the adapters. And I thought I had one here, but I guess I'm using them all. Actually, there's one right here. So I used one of these adapters, which is RCA mono, again, old school, to 1/8 inch mono. And then I used a cable that had RCA jack on this end and a 3.5 millimeter on the other one. So when I plugged that in, it started working. I don't know why these guys don't work. And unfortunately, I ordered a number of these, and I only I've used up all the ones of these. There's 3 here, 2 here, 1 there, on my other mixer upstairs in my office. So right now I have the microphone, which is old style microphone with a 1/8 inch plug. I have that plugged in to channel 1, and I have the scanner radio plugged in to channel 3 or 4, the right side of 3 or 4. And so the way these work is you get stereo by having 2 channels, and then it has 1 control. So I've got it coming in the right side. Now, so I should be able to turn that up now. I got it turned down.
Southeast 5 to 10 knots in the
and
afternoon.
You should hear the weather.
Inland water,
I may have
the
turned it
moderate
up too
drop.
much. Turn it back down. You should have heard the weather. So I'm mixing my voice, which is on the microphone, with the scanner input. I'm not switching. So you should have heard me trying to talk over the scanner, with the idea of now I can hook up my microphone and 2 radios, even more. I can hook up actually 4, because if I use the mono jacks, I can use 4, although this thing has a lot of features. So I can control like the left and right, which is 3 and 4, by this balance knob here, so that I can actually, switch between 2 radios in that case and do a difference. Unlike what I have been doing is I'm just using a microphone input and putting the microphone down by the radios, which sometimes I forget to do that. So, boy, am I babbling this morning. All right, I'm going on. So I got it working. I got it working with microphone and 1 scanner input. I have to go buy some more of these adapters, which apparently is what it likes. And to get the 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch, which is mono, to 3.5, which is mono, they're really hard to find. That's why I'm using adapters, and that's why I used adapters before on my other mixer. Okay, what else? I think that's about it. So what I will eventually do is I will get this wired up. I'll have at least 2 additional inputs besides my microphone, and I can then use either one or both of them, depending on what I want to test. And I will move this over to my right side off of my workbench, so I can have the radios here on my workbench, and I'll plug the cables that go to this into the radios. So that's how it's going to work. Boy, it took me a long time to get this working, and I actually thought I had damaged something, because I wasn't getting anything out of the radio. But it was just non-compatible connectors. and or cables, whatever. So I got it working now. So anyway, if you enjoyed this little escapade that I did, please give me a thumbs up and have a Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Winds 15 to 20 knots.